Hello, hello, welcome. I can see we've got Mitun Rida here with us, and I'm hoping he's going to come on because I cannot speak on agility, so it might be a second. But just to tell you, we're going to welcome Mitun here very soon, and here he is. Hello, Mitun, welcome. I think you're on mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfect. Hello, hello. It's perfect. Honestly, me too. You got me worried because I cannot speak on agility. I didn't see your face and I thought, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do for 30 minutes speaking on agility? I'm glad
That
that you're here.
that
I'm
would
glad
be
that you're
real.
here and welcome Mitun. And for everyone who might not know, this is Mitun Rida, and he is a PPM practice manager. He's the enterprise architect and international speaker, currently working for Altron, and he's actually joining us from my time zone. He's joining us from Paris, and it's such a pleasure to have you here. We've had you in a panel discussion yesterday. You are having a keynote session today, and a keynote session is going to be on agility across cultures, managing collaboration blind spots in agile transformation. I'm very excited. Everyone, this is Mitun, and please keep the questions and comments coming, and we're going to address them towards the end of Mitun's session. So Mitun, such a pleasure. Welcome and enjoy, everyone. I
Let
think
me start by sharing the screen.
perfect. Feel
Can you
free.
see my screen? Yeah. So, hello
Yes,
everyone.
we can.
Welcome to this session. I have 30 minutes, and actually 30 minutes for a subject, for a topic on which I can go hours and hours. So, agility across cultures, and especially how to manage collaboration blind spots in agile transformation. So, already Katie introduced you to me. So I'm based in Paris, and one of the things I really like about cultures is discovering cultures. I've traveled in around 60 countries, and the more I travel, I think the more things I have to learn, and especially when you're engaging in transformation projects, when you are having people from more than 5 or 10 countries, you might see what kind of transformation challenges you go through. So I'll be speaking about these transformation challenges, especially in agile context, and how to come across, how to really find your own way to solve them. So I'll start with very quick introduction on change management and agile transformation by Altran. Then I will talk about these challenges that I told you, what challenges I faced and my colleagues face on the projects. Then we will try to see a few of those cultural lenses, and how agility is perceived through these lenses in different places. So culture is a very complex topic. Culture is what has a many definitions. I do like one of the definitions from the Dutch expert on intercultural management, Hofstede, who says culture is the software of the mind. A few people might not agree with this definition, but I do like this definition. And also, I like simplifying it. Culture is what is appreciated, what is encouraged in an organization, behaviors which are awarded and behaviors which are punished. And that's what creates the culture of an organization. And then I would try to give you a few tools, or inspire you to find your own roadmap to success in agile transformations. So first, I would like to ask you this question. During this last couple of years, agility, or I would say even business agility or agility, it has really become a buzzword for organizations and individuals. So you might feel that it's overused, it's absurd, it's theoretical, it's a cliche. So my question to you: when have you experienced agility last time in your life? and what does it mean to you personally? So please write in the chat, and I'll have a look at your inputs. Okay, let's see if okay, overused, adapting quickly to changing situations. Yes, Corky, absolutely. Anything else that it means to you? Having an unexpected renovation come up from a sewage flood. Yes, Rosan, and I do remember we talked about it. The global pandemic. Yes, Simona, that's an excellent example. So we are all improvising. Vivan, yes, agility is flexibility with problem solving. Excellent. So with these, let's move ahead. I wanted to just present you my team in a very few words. We are an enterprise transformation expertise center at Altron, and which is part of Capgemini Group. What we do is really everything related to large scale transformation. So we have a part of our team focused on more the human centric aspects of transformation, and part of our team is focused on the data aspects, so data and digital transformation. So I'm more focused on human centric, so agile transformation and PPM. So these are the two topics I specialize on. And our way is always we start with a as is analysis, or it's not a audit, but it's kind of an assessment which is through which is a snapshot of a situation in an organization, and then we co-define the target with the client teams, and then we develop a roadmap. And then the final part of the transformation process is the steering, which is done by the client team, or we support as external subject matter experts. And so a few topics that we specialize on is related to agile transformation. So either really helping in managing the transformation, or even starting this transformation. So for example, I have right now two clients where we are at the beginning of the agile transformation. They have been trained on agility, but they have experimented with a very few things from agility. And we do have other clients who have already experimented, and things went wrong, and we have been asked to come and help them to fix some things which haven't been working, or things that haven't delivered results. In terms of change management, so we use a variety of methods, like lots of tools we use, but something I really like is the allies analysis. Then we always work in this very phased way. So we scope, we define the whole change trajectory, and then we have the sharing part where we are communicating. We are providing a lot of documents, kits to the clients, and then the part of optimization where we are optimizing with several improvement plans, workshops, facilitation, and then we adapt. So and this is the part where we are doing a mix of consulting, advisory, and coaching, and it could be also mentoring, so individual and collective coaching, and then the other phases are more collaborating and managing change, and which is ended with evaluation. So and we prepare the next cycle of change. So with that, I want to talk about the challenges in the agile transformation projects. So why do companies want to really go with agility today? So from the latest Capgemini agility agile capability survey, so this is what came up. So focus on what is important. So getting that clarity, delivering better customer value, faster value, so it means time to market, better employee morale. So you are trying to have uh, a better work culture, and especially satisfied employees and streamlined work. So these are pushing enterprises to move to agility, and if they have already experienced agility, then they are trying to scale it up at the organizational level. But the reality is that transformation is very slow, it's expensive, and it's irreversible. So I do have some examples, like companies like ExxonMobil, AT&T, Standard Bank in Africa, who have like more than 10 years of experience in an enterprise-wide agile transformation. But most of our clients, they're somewhere in the middle. So they have experience with agility for 5 years or even more than 5 years, but less than 10 years. And they like Société Générale, Électricité de France, EDF. So these and many more. So they are somewhere in the middle. So they have a lot of experience, but they are still not fully agile. And then the third group of companies who are really beginning to experiment, and that's where a lot of challenges arise. So why do they fail? So most agile transformations fail. So one of the statistics from Scrum Inc. says that 47% of agile transformations fail, and that's because of lack of understanding. So not understanding what agility is about, resistance to change. It's about transformations that take too long, and they're like perceived to be too long. You are not having the right support system inside the organization. So executives are not, they're sponsoring the projects, they're sponsoring the initiatives, but they're not really fully buying into it. So so a few of these reasons might be resulting in the failures of agile transformation initiatives. What I found in teams, the major challenges at the team level. So one is always the common understanding of the principles. The principles are understood very differently, and then they are implemented also very differently. So there is a basic error gap in the understanding. Then there is a peak end effect, which is very interesting to see that the teams, when you ask them what do they remember out of their whole agile journey or the project, they don't remember all the great things they have done in the whole project. They only remember the more stressful times. So really the start of the project, the end of the project, and or any kind of more stressful times. The rest of the experiences, learning experiences, are completely forgotten. They're no longer in the memory. Then the story owner problem, that's some challenge I've seen. Like the problem is of the owner, the person who has written the story, not mine. And that's also brings about a lot of blame games. in the organization. We have the virtual challenges. We have the planning fallacy. It means like whatever you plan, you're always too um, optimistic about the plan. And when the real development or development of the product comes, it's very complicated. There's also the anchoring problem. So a lot of decisions are taken purely due to anchoring effects. So initial information about some of the decisions, and that anchoring is actually pushing people to make similar decisions. Out of the latest the research from Capgemini on agility and scaling agile, so we can say that the number one challenge to agility today is the culture and mindset. So this is the mindset gap is the biggest obstacle, which is followed by technical lag. So your technical side, so your enterprise architecture is not adapted to your ambitions or what you want to do in terms of your agile processes. So you have to take that part into consideration very early to see that if you want to be really agile, is all the technical side, is it already prepared in advance? And the third one is the alignment lag. So the objectives are not fully aligned, and followed by scalability. So when you see this, if we focus at the scaling, so really we can see that like this is among forerunners, the companies who have already been practicing agile and having their centers of excellence. So we can see that 82% they are saying that culture and the mindset are the biggest obstacles. So let's see what happens actually. So operationally, in my experience, I see that there is a challenge in changing the mindset over the processes. So people are mostly focused at getting the processes right. The challenge is also creating the stories, writing the stories, documenting them properly. The resistance to change, which happens at each level, and defining the criteria. So knowing really when can you say that you are actually in the agile mode, and who would be able to say that within the organization that you're really moving into the agile mode and you are agile today. So defining those success criteria seems to be a challenge, and most of my clients, they're having different project organizations. It means different methodologies being in place. So either waterfall and recycle and hybrid systems and agile systems. So you have a problem because not everyone is having to do things in the same way, and it creates friction from very early on in the transformation. Something about the blind spot. So what really is the blind spot? So a lot of times the blind spot is what you are already you're not aware that you have a blind spot. And collaboration blind spot, it's the spot that you think that you have already addressed it, but you are not aware at all of that blind spot. So if you are focusing on the logistics, processes, incentives, and outcomes, what is completely forgotten is that you have to manage human beings. Finally, you have to break down the walls. You have to find people who can really be connected, who can sacrifice what the kind of management power that they have, or access to information that they have. They have to be able to share it and give away some things, some advantages that they have to be able to work as a group. So once you don't I mean once you move into the transformation, and that's where we see this kind of the threats and warning come up. So you would have like kind of territorial assertions, like us versus them. You can have some people who are doing power play, even passive aggressive behavior. You might have people who are just attacking others, or like right now I am in one of my client projects, I have one person who is absolutely into the power play. So he's blocking at all times each new initiative. So at every meeting, I have this kind of feedback like, I cannot understand, I don't understand. And he's really blocked with the fact that he will lose his role as a manager, and he would not be able to exert the legitimacy with his teams if he fully embraces agility. So way to deal with it is that you know that whenever you are going through this transformation, you have to create a new identity for the team and for the individuals is being created. And if you want to minimize, you have to find a way to reinforce the identity, so to make them understand that they can still have something in control, and that they are still legitimate in their new role. And uh, and something I feel that people forget is like really trying to see if they have blind spots at all. And there will be always some blind spots, and especially in an organization that is complex, where nothing is like most of the things that you can see from the outside of the, like in the iceberg, like the vision, like what kind of objectives, what kind of structures you can see from the outside. But most of the invisible things, like the values of the company, the stories that people say about their about the company, the narrative, the feelings, and the unwritten protocols. So those parts are making the transformation very complicated. So with this, let me see like what let me move to the next part, which is like when you are perceiving agility through the cultural lens. So what really happens, what kind of differences can be seen? So I've been interviewing more than 50 agile coaches for more than 15 countries since Jan this year, and a lot of interesting things came out. So when you are really going a bit deep, what's happening in the agile transformation in across different cultures? So there are a few cultures where you are having a problem with sharing personal information and bad news. So this is especially in countries which have a more group oriented culture. So like in Latin America, or in Africa, in Asia. So it's sharing the bad news is it's linked to also the face, so saving face. So people would avoid sharing the bad news, especially in an enterprise wide agile initiative. So some challenges of product owners in indirect face saving cultures. So we found that, for example, a product owner in India who accepted all the user stories, so that made a whole never-ending backlog. So you might have this, because in India it's absolutely not okay to say no. So it's always yes and yes and yes, and that's one of the one example that came out. And a lot of the culture, especially with the young generation, the Generation Z, we see that it's a instant gratification, social media, Amazon way of seeing the thing. So like they want everything, they want to buy it, they want to own it, they want to have it immediately. And that also means that people who are clients in organization, in this kind of complex organization, they think that I can get some agile coaches, I can buy them, and I can bring agility into the company. without doing the hard work. So that's one topic I saw. I would also share about some other things like metaphors, which are used in the communication, and in some organizations, for example, velocity. It is viewed as a measure of speed, and they are actually very focused on increasing the velocity, which is kind of, if you're not having a higher maturity in agile, then it might give you not the right answers, and it might be more confusing, and you might you might completely push the team to go finally in a way that might not be very much agile. Then hierarchy. So something I saw amongst teams, especially in Asia, where you have more hierarchy, need for hierarchy, and in these cultures, since agile teams are self-governed, self-managed teams, so you have flat hierarchy, but the teams have a tendency to create that hierarchy, which has been missing. So the teams are giving this role of manager to either the scrum master, and sometimes also, if it's not the scrum master, then the product owner is seen as a manager of the team. And this was very interesting, because the idea of behind agility, behind moving to agility, was to remove the hierarchy, have people have more an inverted triangle of the magic triangle that we see in classical projects, and have really people communicate across each other. And we could not, and this is actually not happening in some of the teams where this kind of hierarchy is created. Although it's on paper, it's still an agile team. Other issues I saw, challenges, especially from cultures, is the different belief systems. So there's some impact of religious ethics, philosophies on the team activities. Something related to language. So I saw amongst, like, one of the teams, so a French-speaking team based in France, working with a Spanish team that speaks fluently French, but still, even if they speak the same language, but their agile vocabulary is not perceived in the same way, and there were a lot of language related issues, although they could speak in the same language. So you might have issues coming up due to the language. So what kind of misfits do we see? So one of the major issues is missing hierarchy. So that's, for some cultures where hierarchy is very important, that is a missing thing, and they are longing for that. So they're not very used to not having any hierarchy, and this is one of the misfits happening in agile teams. uh, the other misfits I found is acceptance of changes, so dealing with uncertainty. So some cultures who are more okay with uncertainty, so who have a more spontaneous way of dealing with things, and there are some cultures which are very much some risk avoiding cultures, where really uncertainty is not acceptable. So everything is planned more in advance. So this can be seen in the agile projects. Other issues of planning, for example, what kind of planning, what is the level of detail, and how is the estimation in the plan done, so long versus short term. And so this is also affecting from the cultural side, how much people commit. So that is also one of the culturally one of the perceptions which might affect your project. So other things like so the trial and error culture, so that which we encourage in agile projects, uh, which can be seen as a bit difficult because it's in especially in cultures where saving face is important. So I can take the example of Vietnam, India, Thailand, no, sorry, India and China. So in these cultures, so saving face is very important. Um, you might have a problem to really embrace the trial and error culture. So giving people the psychological safety to commit mistakes and accept it in public might be difficult in a team. Um, for example, the ceremonies which are time boxed. So in especially in Scrum, we talk about time boxing. So it has less time for that means you have to deliver. You have very fixed intervals and precise objectives. So when the teams are not having the time for social interactions, so you have a more group oriented cultures where people have a way of spending more time in the interactions, because they want to take care of the relationship. So if you take care of the relationship, you take care of the business. And where there are some cultures which are more task oriented cultures, where the social interaction is okay, nice, we can have a very quick word at the beginning, but what will really create your credibility is if you are delivering on time. So to sum up, I would like to say, like, some organizational level challenges that you might face due to culture are that you to have real self-organized teams, cross-functional teams, and learning and failure culture, to moving to a saving for creating psychological safety in your teams. Your decision making, it might be very depending on what kind of hierarchy you have. So in certain countries where you have very much consensus based decision making, so for example Japan, where there is a hierarchy, but it's hierarchy with consensus. So the consensus is achieved before the decision making is done, before the meeting is organized. So that might be very different compared to individual oriented culture, where it's less on the consensus and more on argument based culture. Like in France, it's more it's less about the consensus, it's more about who can have the best idea and can argument it correctly and defend it in terms in to the opposition, um, compared to Germany, which is more a consensus oriented decision making. So you can see, like, even countries which are just neighboring countries might have a big difference in the way decisions are being taken. And at the individual level, the kind of ceremonies which might be very much impacted in Agile would be like the daily status meeting. So for a few countries, the daily status meeting actually becomes a reporting meeting and less about the way the Scrum Master would like to facilitate it. There are a few countries where they say, okay, we don't need any retro meetings, because no retrospective, because that can be also not the best way to save face. So that's one issue we found. Like multitasking. So some cultures where they have a more spontaneous way of doing things. So the number of projects which are started are a lot. So there's a lot of work in progress, which is actually very far from what is recommended in lean, to have focus on a few projects, but really get them to deliver well. So I wanted to also share with you one example from France, uh, where the product owner and the scrum master and the team, whenever they are having a conflict, so they are rejecting the responsibility or accountability, because it's very easy. The way is always somebody has to be blamed, and either it's the developers who have to be blamed for not having understood correctly the details of the project, of the specifications, or it's very easy to say you haven't understood me correctly. And so the stories, the problem is with the documentation of the stories. So always not taking the responsibility, and that is one cultural example I see very, very common in France. In one of my client teams, so they in Australia. So my colleague, he organized a integration session. So he had the scrum master and the whole team from China come to Australia and spend a couple of months. So this is before the pandemic period. And at the end of the first day, the scrum master, she started crying. She said, like, you are so brutal, you are so conflict oriented. And she was not able to take the way the teams in Australia were discussing. And it took a long time to realize that for the scrum master, that it's just normal way of working. The team members are very direct, and they can be conflictual. It doesn't mean that they're going against the person. They're maybe just expressing something very honestly, very direct, in a direct way, and that's their normal way of doing the business. Uh, and I think,
Me too. I'm here. Sorry, I'm not sure if you can actually hear me and see me. I'm here to scare you off
yeah,
because we are running a bit over time. And actually, I
okay,
do have panelists ready,
yeah.
but I don't want to be rude. And I did want to say thank you too. So please, if you just like to finish up quickly,
Yes, I will. I will finish up. So just a moment.
just so we have, we're going to have a
Yeah,
little break after this panel discussion, which is coming.
yeah.
But there are panelists who are so excited to join. So I don't want to keep
Okay.
them waiting for too long.
Yeah. So I will just wanted to. Okay. No, this one. So beyond all these experiences, what I can say is, if you want to succeed in agile transformation globally, think about a few skills and competencies that you would really help people to grow over time. So something you cannot do without is curiosity, and you have to think about developing the T-shaped skill sets, and empathy, acceptance. So these are the way, these are the skills that will help. And if you want to really think about one, my takeaway message is, agility is finally mindset. So mindset above everything. So don't focus on the processes, tools, governance, and think about it as a cultural change, and it has to be matched with the cultural values of the country, and of the cultures of individual cultures within the country. You have to consider culture in your transformation. And finally, business agility is key. You have to find a way to between your ambition and your patience. I hope you get the idea of this speech was to really make you curious, So think about it. You will find a lot of your experience, and I would be happy to hear from you other cultural differences and other issues you found in your agile transformation projects across cultures. With this, I give you back the floor, Katie.
Thank you so much, Mitun. It was wonderful. And next time, I'm promising we're going to give you way more time. But this was honestly very, very wholesome and lovely, informative. Thank you very, very much.